That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, 9 after 11 o'clock, 22 degrees downtown. It's hot, absolutely stifling. Friday, January 25th, coming into the weekend, and we have some special announcements to make about the weekend a little later on, but first of all, coming out of Manitoba, and believe me, you're going to absolutely love this. Singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentist, photographer, audio engineer, that's something I know about, and video producer Greg began performing at the age of 16. Now, where he joined a religious band, that's where he started. He did his first tour at the age of 18, touring Western Canada. And after that, he realised music was his path. I'm glad to announce he's with us right now, Greg Arcade. Good morning here. Good afternoon over there, Greg.
How are you guys doing?
It is a pleasure to meet you, Greg, and believe me, we've been following your career now for a couple of years before we've had the chance to get you on the show, and believe me, I am absolutely elated to have you with us. And are you still with the Coyotes?
Yeah, absolutely. That's my backing band.
Nice, because I just wanted to clear that up. I didn't actually get any names of the boys, so we might give them a bit of a shout out in the near future. But Greg, you've been going now for some years, since you were about 16 years of age. Have you always wanted to be a singer?
Yeah, like I started off, I was playing more guitar. I didn't really think about singing so much, but as when you get in the studio, get some experience behind you, you start doing that, and I found I had some things to say, I guess,
Exactly, I get that, and believe me, I've got to ask you about, it all started with a heartache, and believe me, what a great way to start the show. At the same time, I've got to ask you, how did you come to the lyrics?
The lyrics? Oh man, it's always hard, right, talking about the lyrics of songs, because, it can change how it means for some people when they listen to it, but for me, I was going through some tougher times, and that whole record took me a long time to write, because there was just a lot of bad things going on in my life. I was doing it to myself, putting myself in the downward spiral, and I don't know if I was doing it so I had something to write about, or just because I was kind of giving up a little, but the writing the record and getting the songs done, finally putting them to tape, helped pull me out of that and get me back, back alive, back out there. And yeah, I guess the music saved me in a way,
I fully understand that, Greg. I really, really do. So give us a plug for the studio and your producer.
You know what? I self-produced that record. I produced quite a few records, and yeah, like a lot of it was done here in my own place. A couple of the things, I farmed out to buddy studios, like the pedal steel guitar or the fiddle. Brenton Thorvaldson was the fiddle player on that track. Rory Verbrugge, he was the pedal steel player on that track. Josh Ayers was drumming, but I was engineering. We were just doing it in my home studio for that one, because it's just, I feel like, especially when it's a song that means a lot to you like that one, you really got to put a lot of time into it, and the pressures of the studio can create beautiful things, but sometimes you need to lay back and really spend some time and get it right, So that was the whole idea with this record.
I absolutely understand what you're saying there. Being a bit of an engineer myself over the years, I think I've got about 35 years under my belt right now doing that. But not only studios, of course, doing live stuff and travelling with some of the biggest names in the world, to be very honest with you. But I sit back, literally, Greg, and listen to your music. Now, I got to be honest with you, I can't fault it. As an engineer to an engineer, I think it's absolutely superb work. I really, really do. So, congratulations for that.
Thank you so much. What I really said with this one, too, I wasn't trying to go for any of the standard sounds, or like the standard hits and frequency ranges. I was doing it for my girlfriend's father and stepmother have this amazing sound system. And they're always listening to the best music. You walk in and it's like, like Stanley Brothers or John Prine or some awesome 70s stuff I can't even name. And the whole time mixing this record, I was like, I want it to sound good on that system, so they'll like it. You know what I mean? So that was what went into it. And I think that was a good way to be, being yourself on it, being like getting sounds you wanted. Maybe it's not exactly how it should be, but who cares? It's this way, and I like it.
I stand by that myself, and I congratulate you for taking that stance. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, even though a producer or an engineer turns out the artist's work, it's not always what the artist wants in the end, if you know what I mean. So being a happy artist with the end result of your work, always a good thing to have. Now, at the same time, Ben, sorry, Greg, I want to ask you about Start Me Up. Now, we've been getting quite a few requests for Start Me Up. We have you on a number of shows here, including 16 Hours of Country on a Sunday, which is coming up in a couple of days, and also Monday night, knowing that we were going to be doing an interview with you. We have a Galaxy Artist page. We put you into that. And, of course, I've been playing you through...
You guys are just the best over there. I got to say it. Sorry to interrupt, but you guys are just the best there at Galaxy. Thank you so much for treating us so kind.
Well, we absolutely love your music. And I've been playing you, of course, through the breakfast show as well, which between 6 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock in the morning, we get you in there a couple of times. Now, got to admit, it wasn't me that actually found you in the first place, or even Barbara, which is unusual, because Barbara usually is right on the pulse. It happened to be Terry, my wife. She came to me one day and she goes, have a listen to this guy, see what you think. And I'm going, yeah, okay, all right. People come to me all the time saying, here, have a listen. But this particular time, I actually followed what my wife said, which is unusual for me, I got to admit. And I sat down one day in the studio in there and turned on the speakers and everything like that, brought you up and had a listen to It Started With a Heartache, and that's where I think this journey really did start. Then we come up with Start Me Up. Now, as I said to you earlier on, you're getting quite a few requests with us. Now, tell me a little bit about that particular track.
Oh man, they all got a story in this record. But I remember writing that one. So Canada's big. It's wide. It's like half the world wide. It's crazy. And we were doing this tour that was just going belly up from the start, like horrible. We were in this 1988 Vandura that was converted to a minibus. So at least there was space in it, but it was fun. And we're driving this old thing, and we're London, Ontario, or something like that. And we play a show at this place called like Prohibition or Speakeasy or something. And then we're driving to the next place, and I was talking to this one girl from the show who was like talking to us about our songs and stuff. And our transmission sensor on the bus going through these like little hills and mountains just blows, and we're stuck in Wawa, Ontario. And Wawa, Ontario's got like the most breakdowns in the world. Like you drive in, there's a big goose, and there's a hotel that sells t-shirts that says I got goosed in Wawa. Because everybody breaks down there. And we got stuck. We couldn't rent a car. We couldn't charter a flight. We couldn't get a helicopter. We couldn't do anything to get us anywhere. So we were stuck there until we all had to leave on a Greyhound bus. And when we were driving home, I was just writing this song. We had to ditch the bus and half the gear because they didn't have a mechanic in town. We had to wait 2 weeks to get the sensor in. It was so stupid. And sorry. And yeah, I just remember writing that song, and I was just thinking, like, I just wish this thing would start up. And I don't know. There's a bunch goes into it, but that's really where that came from. So, Houston Law.
Good story.
I'd love one of those t-shirts, actually. I can fully understand what you've been through, but I'm glad you're laughing about it, to be very honest. So, right here at Galaxy 107 FM, here is Greg Arcade. Start Me Up. You right?
Yeah, good and you.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Hot, sweaty. You okay there, Greg?
Yeah, the signal's a little patchy for me. I don't know what's going on. I turned off everything in the house. Is it okay for you guys? Is it coming through okay?
Yeah, no, it's perfect over here.
Okay, so maybe it's just my computer where it is. It's just all, like boxy, but I can hear you, so it's not a big deal.
Nice. That's...
we'll send him a photo after.
Yeah, by the way, we'll send you everything that we do here. We'll...
Awesome.
Even though we're recording Facebook Live right now, and I've got to thank everybody for joining us on Facebook Live, but we will convert it over to YouTube and send it to you. You can do whatever you want with that.
Sure. We'll coordinate promo with you too. We'd be happy to do that on our end. So.
Nice. And at the same time, we'll send you a crazy photo. It's sort of traditional. It's something that Barbara and I do to everybody. So you can put it on your phone, show all your friends and say, don't ever do that with these crazy Kiwis. I understand. And,
I've met all my rowdy friends.
Nice. So basically we ask our listeners from time to time questions that they may like to know about you, or something about you that we may be able to ask you. And the general consensus is, and I'm going to ask you this, about the multimedias. Now, that's where basically your modern day database is for your fan group, isn't it?
Oh, like the multimedia work?
Yeah.
That's more so, like, are you talking about me as like a multimedia designer?
No. Well, actually, I didn't know that. But what I'm trying to get across is, are you on things like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more importantly?
Oh yeah,
More importantly,
I was just gonna say handles are generally always. I'm sorry. You go.
yeah. More importantly, that's again where your database is. If fans get hold of you, do you respond?
Oh yeah, always. You gotta be careful. I got a couple impersonator accounts, but for the most part, if you just go straight to the @Greg Arcade, all small letters, all one word, that's me. Or hit me up through the website and send me an email. Like, I'll get back to you for sure. If I don't, it's probably because it either got filtered to spam and I didn't see it. But I'm always trying to get back to people ASAP. And
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
I don't know. If people are going to be kind enough and give me the time to listen to the things I create, I try to give them as much of my time as I can.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. I've got a voice in my head from time to time that talks to me, gives me stats and stuff like that, if you know what I mean. So if you see me make strange suggestions or gestures, I'm talking to somebody over here. Barbara's trying to put me off like crazy by poking tongues.
Yep.
Let's go back to the desk.
Knock on my door, come up to my room. Knock on my door, come up to my room now. Alright, you make my heart stop beating. Baby, stop me up tonight. Alright, you make my heart stop beating. Baby, stop me up tonight. Alright, you make my heart stop beating. Baby, stop me up tonight.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. It is 21 after 11, 23 degrees. We're only 2 degrees off our high of 25 today. In fact, I think we're going to go a lot higher, to be honest with you. Friday, January 25th, and I'm glad to have everybody along this morning to join in with Greg Arcade coming out of Manitoba. Now, I got to ask you, Greg, and we were talking about starting out, how the minibar, well, your bus absolutely just failed in a place where you wouldn't want it to fail. Is that what prompted you to become quite proficient with a mechanical engineering degree?
Well, you know what? No, I was doing that before I moved on to do music full time. After that tour, though, I remember coming home and saying, I am done with this for a while, and just getting a job in the field for a second. And every day, just not for me. You know, it's cool. I love it. I like doing the work. I don't like a lot of the politics that go along with that type of politics. Anything you do, anybody listening knows that. But I mean, like, just you know, if I'm going to be dealing with stuff I don't like, I might as well play guitar. I might make less money, but I get to do what I like, and I'm happy, you know. And being happy is very important. As long as everything in your house, everything's in order and all that, you know, and you're paying your bills and doing that, get happy.
Absolutely.
You don't need that extra car.
Absolutely.
You need a smile on your face.
Yeah, I fully agree with
funny
you.
coming from me, my whole record of Heartbreaker.
But hey, you know, I got to be honest with you. When we first started doing country here at Galaxy, one of the rules we made literally was we don't want any broken-assed cowboys singing into their whiskies about their broken trucks and everything like that. But then I kind of changed the rules when you came along, because we found your music interesting, if you know what I mean. We thought this has got a message in every song, and it's not a broken cowboy singing into his whiskey at the end of the night. He's actually trying to get some words out there that mean something to him. That's why we're doing this today, to be very honest with you. We found very special messages within your music. At the same time now, you used to play the organ. Tell me about that.
Oh, that was my first tour ever. I played organ in a ska band, or second tour ever, sorry. I joined a ska band because I just want to get on the road no matter what. And I bought this organ, and that was another one that I was touring. But it's funny, you know, I was like weird at music. My mom took me for a piano lesson when I was 3, and I ran out screaming and crying and never took me back. And then I picked up her old acoustic guitar when I was about, 14, 15, couldn't do anything on it, and, put it in the closet. Then I got that guitar when I was 16, and everything went as it goes. But I couldn't play the piano, and I had one in my room my entire life. And then one day, I just sat down, and, I know this sounds like I'm making it up, it's crazy, but I just started playing. I love playing piano. It's very, Jerry Lee Lewis style rock and roll blues. I could just do it. I could just play a bass line and chords, and I never had training on it. And so I started just picking up piano gigs, and yeah, it was fun. It was cool. I don't mind ska and reggae music. I like the traditional stuff a lot more, but I definitely gravitated back towards, rock and roll, rockabilly, country, that kind of thing, because it just speaks more to me. More stories I'm into. As I get older, too, more country, more that crying cowboy in an old whiskey bottle, but, I love it. So I still promise to cut some quick ones for you.
Nice. Well, I tell you what, you see, we have this show on Sunday. We call it Country Rock, if you know what I mean. And we like the upbeat movement of the music and the artists. And we have everybody coming out of Canada, especially like the Rec Laws and Ben Click and many. I think we have done a good portion of Canada. We really, really have. From everywhere you could think of around Canada, including people like Dwayne Watson, for instance, who is an older gentleman, but absolutely superb in his music as well. About my age, to be quite honest with you. I think I'm competing.
Yeah, man, that's the beautiful thing about good music. It transcends generations and ages, right? Like, you can have a 15-year-old kid who gets super into 60s garage rock, like kind of like I did, a little, and like my parents, like, I'm screaming along to the Trogs when I'm 7 in the car, and because Wild Thing was the best song in the world, and it still is, and I don't care what anyone says. But like, who does that? Like, there's other things don't cross like that. Music can bring us all together in such beautiful ways. So I think it's cool. And yeah, don't worry about being old there, but I still like you.
Thank you so much. I'm so pleased about that. But at the same time, you see, we're talking the Beamer Wiggly, 16 years of age, and I can see over the next year or so, not only is he going to take out a BCCMA, but also a country music award from Canada itself. You know what I mean? I think he's going to be a force to reckon with. 16 years right now. We cottoned on to him last year when he was 15, literally before he got his driver's license even, if you know what I mean. This kid is going to go huge throughout Canada in the very, very near future. At the same time, there are more established artists that have been working the system, like, of course, we know about the Washboard Unions and the Road Hammers, people like that, that are good friends with us here in Galaxy as well. So we cover the whole lot. The only rule we do have is if they're not good, they're not getting an interview. End of story. We don't play that sort of music here. We want only the good stuff, and we stick by that rule.
Well, I'm taking that as a compliment. I'm taking that to the store as a compliment. Buy my milk with it.
Well, I tell you what, you deserve to take that as a compliment, because believe me, we kind of feel you're right up there in the music industry, and I kind of feel that you're not too far from the precipice of actually picking up awards yourself in places like the BCCMAs or the Canadian Country Music, with the right people watching you. Now, have you ever heard of Pinky Sims, for instance?
Of who, pardon me?
Pinky Sims. Now, she's a she's a young lady that...
it's one of those names that's ringing a bell, and I don't know why.
Okay, well,
enlighten me.
She's a young lady that does a lot for indie artists in her country, in Canada itself. Very, very close friend of ours. I admire her 100%. Like Rod Hansen, for instance. Now, these people are the people that notice what talent's all about, get behind them, and before you know it, they start turning into a success. And I was just wondering if you were familiar with this particular lady, because I'm going to recommend you to Pinky Sims. I reckon that she would be...
I'd love to meet her.
She would be an absolute gem for you.
I feel so bad butting in to say something. I'm sorry. I'm having such a good conversation. I forget we're on the radio.
Well, the thing is, I don't actually mind being butted in on. I talk too much as it is, and I always want to know what your views on things are. Now, I got to ask you, Greg, how do our fans get hold of you? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Instagram? Are you on Facebook? Yeah. But more importantly, do you respond?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So my official website is gregarcade.com. That's the safest place to get in touch with me, because it's not an impersonation account, which are everywhere right now. As far as going on Twitter or Instagram, at Greg Arcade, all small letters, just one word, GREGARCADE. And you'll find me. There are a few impersonation accounts, so you got to be careful with that stuff. But I've been pretty good about getting that tag across every service. I will never ask you for money on social media at all. So if an account does that, please just don't even do it, because I know some of my friends' accounts do. There's been impersonators doing that, and I don't want that to happen to you guys. It breaks my heart someone does that, because this is like our work and our livelihood, and you're dragging names through the mud, So I don't appreciate when the impersonators do that. But I digress. Back to it. Get in touch with me. I will always do my best to talk to you as much as I can with it too. I'm a human too. I have bad days, so sorry. Sometimes it takes me a bit to get to you, or I might be a grump of posting angry memes or something. But that's me, man. I'll promise to give you the same courtesy. You know what I mean?
Nice. Now, at the same time, how do we get hold of your music? Are you on Amazon? Are you on iTunes? Places like that where people can download. We want them to download so that they can pay for your music that way. You see, that's how an artist today gets their money, basically, is by being able to go through these. But not a lot of money, to be very honest with you. I think the telecommunications companies have got that sewn up. But at least you have a chance of making some money.
It depends. It depends how you do it, right? Like, if you do want to throw a few bucks our way, albums coming out at varying prices. I'm starting to reissue some of my older stuff too, and it was a little more rockabilly-ish before I refined my sound and got to where I am now. And we do have new records on the way too. We're going to start tracking right away. We're already writing, pre-producing the next record. So if you go, anywhere, Amazon, Apple Music, Google Play Store, if you contact me through the website, if you catch me before I get to take it down, I was going to take down the buy the CD thing. But if you catch it, I'll still send you one. But I'm going to revamp that and change the pricing and everything, make it easier to get to. Spotify as well too. If you don't have the cash to give in, you can always, stream it on Spotify. You can always turn off your volume and stream it all night for me, so I make money. I'm just kidding. but it is, you can do that. That's good. It's only tiny bits of cents, and other streaming services do it, but it's still better than not getting anything at all. So I appreciate that too, So really anything, at the end of the day, the reason why it's for sale and for streaming is because some people just can't pay, and I understand that. And some people who can pay at this time, music it's kind of a luxury item sometimes, even though it's something that gets you completely through the day and it's hard to live without. So I find that the people who really do care will pay. The people who might just listen through it once might just listen once on Spotify. And sure, you just made it 0.07 cents Canadian or something, but it's still better than nothing, and I'm still glad that you might have enjoyed it. So
nice.
Yeah.
Now, you did mention a website there as well. How would you like to give us the handle on that? And I'm going to ask you, do you have a merch store on there as well?
Yeah, I do the coding myself, but it's funny, I do coding for a lot of clients, and when I do it for myself, I'm just like, you gotta get it out there, type. So it's just generally like a one page. I'll have show listings and maybe a couple videos and art, and that'll change, and it's due for an update. I got so much to do right now. It's crazy.
I'm sorry, I'm starting to prompt you some work now by the sounds of it.
It's all good, but when people say DIY, it really is, I feel like I really embody the DIY, like I produce the records, I draw the posters, I draw the t-shirts, I get them manufactured, I do the web coding, I manage the social media. I like that, this is what I want to do. I don't want to pay someone to do it. It's not that I can't or I'm too cheap or anything. It's just I like it. It's the business, and it's fun, and it also helps me help other artists like my friends and stuff, because I've used it, and then they'll call me up and see if I can do something for them. So I think it's a valuable skill that a lot of people should get into. I'm not just going up there and phoning it in. I do it. I do it all.
Exactly, and I can appreciate that. I really, really can. I'm the leading IT expert here at the station at the moment, and I'm here some nights, and believe me, last night being no exception, 9:30 at night last night, I got in touch with you, said we were having problems. Still here at 4 o'clock this morning, still here right now, and I doubt that I'll get home before 10 o'clock tonight. It's a hands-on kind of job, and believe me, with the amount of staff
Yeah.
that we have here, believe me, you'd think we would have enough people to be able to comfortably take care of that. But believe me, nobody wants to come out of their bed at 10 o'clock at night and work through until lunchtime at least, if you know what I mean. Being the boss,
I know.
it all rests on me, so I got to do it. It is a labour of love, and believe me, sometimes you find that you're stressed with the love that you've got to put in, that's for sure. But it makes a wonderful product, it really, really does, especially when I can bring to the world. And we're streaming right now in 62 different countries, and believe me, there's millions around the world listening to our interviews right now. It just emphasises the work we do here at Galaxy, and we are all about the music. Moreover than the musicians themselves sometimes, it's the quality of the music, and then we need to know where these influences have come from. Meet the people that are singing it. Get those people to meet our fans, and our fans absolutely love these interviews. Now, I've got to ask you, Greg, about Memphis Line. This is something that's been getting quite a bit of airplay, and believe me, people have been wanting to know, my friend, all about this particular track. Tell me all about it.
Man, this is one of two songs that held up me putting out this record earlier than I did, but I'm glad it did. So I said, I went through some dark times and I put myself there, and I was falling in with bad crowds, doing bad things. Just you do that if you're not being guided. I never really got that guidance when I was a little younger. You get in shows, you're making a lot of money, you're not caring what's happening, and then before long you're not caring about yourself, and you're falling apart, and you start losing things that you love in replacement of pursuing things that you think you love. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And
that's not like, one thing to know about all my songs too is I write them for the Greg Arcade brand almost 100% exclusively about my own personal experiences or things that I do or things that I've experienced, and sure, I'll cloud them in metaphors sometimes, but this song's got a lot of truth in it, and it's, sometimes you just got to write down its truth. And you got to get that bad out of you too, and that's why I'm so happy that I have music, because you pull that negative energy out of yourself. Like they say too, like you got bad energy, it sits in your gut, it's going to sour your gut bacteria, make you feel bad, and then you get sicker over time. And I was talking to a buddy this morning, he had a bad show last night, so he was Facebooking me. And I said, you know what, man, why don't you write down, this is what I did when I was younger. Write down 10 things you learned last night, good or bad. And then he wrote them down, and they were all like angry. And I just sat there flipping them for him, like instead of being mad about this, be glad that you learned this. And that's kind of what this song does for me too, it helped me get out of there. And it's funny, a lot of people told me too, this record, they didn't get it the first time they listened to it. And that's cool, but one guy, a buddy of mine, was coming in to play lead guitar for me one night because my other guy was busy, and I like focusing on the songs when I sing, right? So he listened to it, and he sent me a message. He's like, what are you doing? Like, what is this? And then 2 hours later, he's like, I listened to it again, man. This is awesome. Like, I get it now. And then it's like, I get that too. Like, it might not be something you necessarily get at first, but if you sit down and you listen to kind of the whole thing, this record kind of tells you a story of what's going on. So it's just, I don't know, sorry if I got off track talking about Memphis Line, but it's the whole record as a whole, is one big piece. And there's a reason that sometimes I Think of You song, one of the first songs I ever wrote, there's a reason that's on there too, and this is and there's a reason it's called It All Started With the Heartache, because that's more than just that song and the experiences of that song. That's actually about kind of everything. Like, I remember that first time before I even smoked a cigarette or anything like that, and I'm like at a rock and roll party with some pretty girls, and, then you break up with that first pretty girl and you write a song about it. I just found that song after like 12 years, by the way, the other day. I'll send it to you. You're going to hate it. But anyway, like that heartache, it gets you, it drives. And that's really what started this project up. Like, it was a little bit of pain, and pain translates, but you can't let it suck you down, even if you're sad. Sometimes you got to fight through it. And I get it. Like, I deal with everybody deals with that, hard depressions and things like that at time. People to varying degrees as well too. But it's just, you can break through it, but you got to find ways to do so. And there's ways that you can cope, and there's always positive ways to spin situations. So, yeah, that song, you got to write it down, get something positive out of it. I don't even know where I am anymore. I'm sorry, I lost my.
Here's Greg Arcade, Memphis Live.
Hi, Emily, Jimmy. What else we got? Mon, Ian.
Man, I'm having a blast.
Nice.
Maureen,
I'm
good.
pleased.
Cheryl,
It'll be like no other interview you've
Patricia,
ever done or
Leo,
probably ever do
Vicky.
again.
Hi, Dan.
So,
Henson, Laura,
please.
I'll save these ones for you,
Jared,
Fred.
Molly.
Brilliant.
Hi, Chuck, Elizabeth, Glenn, Daniel, Arnold, Slav,
Wow.
Barbara Kinley.
Welcome along, guys.
Ron Vincent.
Ron Vincent.
Terry Ashley.
Oh,
Mr. Cat
Chalmers,
Stevens.
These
Jeff
are the people on the
Fitzy,
live stream?
Wayne
Yeah,
Bowser,
believe me,
Tina
we
Booth,
have a
yeah,
huge,
Bruce's.
huge following right now on
That's
live
awesome.
stream. And I got a Ron Vincent, Mr. Cat Stevens.
Oh, yeah.
Nice to have you along, Ron. Want to get you back in town. We got to party some more, my friend. We really do. And enjoyed the trip back from Komodo back to the airport with you, mate. We'll have to do that again too.
Different car.
Different
Cat
car.
Stevens?
No, it's not the real Yusuf.
I was the Cat Stevens this morning, that's why I thought that was crazy.
Okay, no, this guy, I am not kidding you, is the splitting image of Yusuf or Cat Stevens,
Isn't
and
he?
he's the only guy that I know of in the world that has Cat Stevens' blessing on doing his music.
Huh. Wow, that's crazy. Well, hi.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
hello,
And
or I don't know if you can see. I don't even know what's going on. I'm sitting here on Skype for the first time here, so this is fun for me.
oh,
it's
believe me,
okay.
when you get the video of this, you'll be able to see what else we've been doing and everything. like that.
Yes.
You know,
What
so,
have we?
and believe me, we have a lot of fun. I see you. We we have a lot of fun with this.
Just
if you
drawing
know what I mean.
mustaches on me.
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah.
And we've got Barbara, to do with that, gave the T-shirt.
Right. Okay. Now that's a good prompt.
Yes.
In fact, if you
'Cause
bear
we're
with
off
me,
air.
Greg, when we come back on air, I'll do a little promo about this because we do have the march tomorrow. So I think it's very important that we get this message out as well, if you know what I mean. So please bear with me.
So too.
We are so supportive of the people who are holding this ministry. We really, really are. And I want to thank you guys for getting us involved, especially you, Barbara. Really do. I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to give you, everybody in the world, your phone number.
Oh, no.
I really am.
Well, you did the other day.
Well, I do anyway on the show.
Now, does he get foxes near or wolves where he lives?
Yeah, I don't know. Greg, do you get wolves where you live?
Oh yeah,
Yeah?
crazy. Lots of actually coyotes even in the city where we live.
Wow.
Foxes running around. Like there's about 800,000 people, or I guess 700,000 in this city.
Wow.
And
Okay.
but there's
Carolina.
wolves like crazy around here. There's one guy.
Let's go back to the desk,
Sorry.
right?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah, running out of
Memphis, hey, up in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm on the city of Memphis. Little master, come along with me. Little master, come along with me. Well, sure, master, come along with me. Galaxy.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107. Perfect timing, Barbara, you got me right there. 16 away from 12 o'clock, it is 25 degrees. I knew we were going to get there. That's our high for the day. But heating, I kind of feel up around the 30s, to be very honest with you. Friday, January 25th, and joined by Greg OK coming out of Manitoba. But first of all, before we get into that, Barbara, you'll notice right now, I got a very, very special t-shirt on, and this is a very important message. It really, really is. It's coming from the Anti-P Ministry. Now, they're having a hekoi tomorrow morning. For those of you around the world that don't know what a hekoi is, basically a march. It's Maori language, or te reo, for march, and we're holding one starting at the James Hardy Centre, the Ron Hardy Centre. Almost got that wrong. At 10 o'clock. Come and join us, because believe me, it's going to be something to behold, if nothing else. Walking all the way through to Prudhoe Park, there'll be speeches afterwards, including the founding member. Now, Brendan Warren is going to be there. Father Brendan Warren, he's going to be there doing his speeches. We're going to be there, galaxy107fm. You'll see us there with all our t-shirts and everything. Come on up, introduce yourself, say hello. We would love to meet you. But in the meantime, very, very special guest, and I got to thank you, Greg, for allowing me to do this, especially through our interview. But I do believe it is a very, very special message about the awareness of P and the drug and what it can do within a community. And it's everywhere here in New Zealand. Not one single town, city, any area you can find this particular drug. And it does have a debilitating kind of thing to the community as a whole. It's absolutely devastating to families. And we want people to be aware. We're not trying to eradicate it. Yeah, we're not trying to eradicate it, we're trying to educate about it, and that's what's more important, if you know what I mean. Because we feel if we can change one person's life, we've done our job. Now, pregnant pause there, he's agreeing with me, he really is, he's shaking his hand.
I forgot that, oh my gosh, I'm shaking my head up and down, people, I'm sorry. No, it is, and it's, it's important, like, it's easy to give up on yourself sometimes, or just go down the wrong way, but there's always a way out.
Yeah, absolutely, and believe me, I think if you've got an education, it might twig something within you to be able to follow up and say, hey, listen, this particular deal isn't for me, and I want to do better in my life. That's all we're looking for, you know what I mean? We're not trying to get rid of the drug or anything like that. That's ridiculous. It's never going to happen. But if somebody...
Yeah, exactly. And it's just about giving options.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. And believe me, I would kind of like to feel that we're making a difference in the community here in New Zealand to be able to make people more aware of what can happen within this particular this drug circle, if you know what I mean. I knew very little about the drug myself, I got to be honest with you, Greg, until we had three lovely ladies come up here, and one of them was, of course, Angel. Then there was Dee, she came up, Donnell, let me get that right, Donnell, and of course Barbara, who was coming up here. And they come up and told me everything about the drug. Now, I got to be honest with you, their honesty was blinding. It really, really was. I wasn't expecting them to be that open about their lives and what this particular thing has done in their lives, if you know what I mean. I was absolutely shocked at what it can do.
Yeah.
At the same time, I now am a little more educated myself.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say too, it's not a judgment thing, and it's not that people are trying to rip you out of it or anything, but there's things you can do that can better yourself, and if you're not feeling right, there's things that you can do to make you feel right again. So absolutely, and nobody judges. Absolutely, nobody judges about this, because I think at the end of the day, from start to finish, everybody's a victim anyway, and you don't judge your victims in any way, shape or form. But we can put you in the right place, or to seek the right advice, if you know what I mean. That's more important, I feel, than anything. And so I got to thank Barbara for joining us online right now. Thank you for that. Now, Greg, I apologise about that, but thank you for understanding. I know that the similar things... Yeah, I know there's similar things in your country as well, and believe me, maybe somebody over there might take part
over here as well and see what we're going to be doing tomorrow on Facebook and everything like that. So, yeah, very, very interesting. Now, Greg, I've got to talk to you about Honky Tonk Gone. Now, I've got to be honest with you, my friend. This particular track has just absolutely been killing it here at Galaxy. I get so many requests through the breakfast show. It is ridiculous. It really is. Our receptionist refuses to take too many more requests for it because, believe me, the other day she handed me a USB stick and she said, Grant, you deal with it. All about you and Honky Tonk Gone. Tell me all about it.
Oh, man, well, thank you, everybody listening. That's just making my day. I got to tell you that. Yeah, holy, that's a whole lot of sunshine on a cold Manitoba day. You know, hearing that, that's awesome. I love this song. It's funny too. Like, and I guess I don't know if you can hear the words in it. You've met that person before. Or you've been that person before. I've been that girl in that song. You know what I mean? Like, you're going out to have fun, and sometimes you just gotta have a ripper to have fun because you write tunes and they got deep messages, and you can take whatever message out of it you got, but sometimes you're just gonna go get gone at the honky tonk, you know.
I know just what you're saying. I really, really do. And you know something? I kind of feel just this year I've been actually getting more and more and more involved in your music, knowing that we were leading up to this particular interview. And as I say to you, we've been getting such a response for Honky Tonk Gone. I've been giving it more of a listen, and I really, really have. It's created the thing we call here in the studio Galaxy chair dancing. And when we play it, literally, I can go anywhere in the office and watch the chairs swinging backwards and forwards with everybody in it, just, and it's fun to watch. It is fun to watch. It really, really is. So, without further ado, here is Greg OK and Honky Tonk Gone. Man, it's hot up here, bub.
It surely is.
Woo. We need air conditioning. Woo. Oh, man.
Look, he's minus 20, I think.
He's minus 20. Oh, think of that. Greg, we had a person send us a photo of a stick with a piece of square plastic on it, and we couldn't figure out what the hell it was. So we said to this particular person, "What the hell is that?" And she goes, "That's my broken snow shovel." And I went,
We've never seen one
"We've
before.
never seen one before." We
Don't
went
need
through
it.
the whole office going, "What the hell is this? What is it?"
Oh, okay.
We had all sorts of things like pizza shovels to mice splatters.
Where was she from? Where was she from?
Grand Forks?
Yep.
Grand Forks?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're about 2.5, 3 hours north of Grand Forks.
Oh, okay. Well,
So it's
yeah, she's...
it's I don't know. It's funny. Like, and it's nuts too, you know, because it's minus 27 plus wind chill today, and a couple weeks ago it was like +2 and melting, and the next day minus 20, and the next day like -2, and it's just, I wish it would just make up its mind. Be cold and terrible, be warm and slushy and muddy. Just stop teasing with my heart, you know, like stop letting me think it's almost over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not.
Believe me, I fully understand that. We go through something similar here, but I've got to admit, this is the hottest summer we've had in decades here, literally. But having said that, Australia at midnight the other night, that's the country over the ditch from us, our cousins that we love to hate, they
Never
were...
heard of them, don't worry.
Yeah, I don't. Believe me, I can tell you some stories. But they were on 50 degrees at midnight, and I'm sitting there going, that's just nuts. That really is nuts.
Yeah, I can't. Like, we get, it's really weird up here. It's like a northern bayou, because it's all swamp, like around Lake Winnipeg, which is this huge, it's like the remainder of Lake Agassiz, one of the Great Lakes, right?
Right.
And it just gets hot, and if you're if you're in the wrong part, it's just unbelievably hot. You know, like, it felt like walking Canada Day, July 1st, it felt like we were walking on the surface of the sun. And we had 2 gigs that day. And like, I remember I ran inside, go to the washroom quick before we played. I walked out and I was just like, I couldn't see anything. It felt like I was getting like melted. And it's crazy now. You go out there and like my dog this morning, he just runs to the end of the steps. And I'm like, well, are you gonna go pee? And he's like,
are you kidding?
no, Dad, it's too cold. I had to like run back in. I'm like, come on. And he did that a couple times, and I just had to like. He's like 60 pounds. Like pick him up so he could pee.
Let's go back to the desk.
He's just like.
Let's go back to the desk. That's funny. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, just talking to Greg Arcade. Yeah, I can understand that about the dog and the snow and stuff like that, Greg. I really, really can. My girls won't even go out the door if it's raining. They just look at me and go, are you nuts? I'm not doing that out there. Oh, wait. And it's like, really?
I love dogs.
Yeah, me too.
Dogs are my favorite thing in the world, you know? Seriously, ever since we got Jacob too, he was a little 8-pound. He looked like a little werewolf bear cub, and we got him, and he's such a smart little guy, and he's so funny and crafty, and he's great too, you know, if I'm playing or tracking songs, he like gets, he's like, oh, okay, and he'll wait, and then like I slap the keyboard and I hit stop, and he's like, oh, you know, and then he'll start talking. It's like, you couldn't have asked for a better buddy, you know, so
nice.
I enjoy that little guy.
Nice.
He's sleeping on the bed.
Yeah, slipped through it and missed it. I've got a couple of female dogs, and believe me, if you've ever heard of Daddy's Girls, both of these are exactly that. They really, really are. In fact, so much so, they won't let other women anywhere near me, which I think is absolutely priceless. I love that.
Well, they're smart. You're a catch.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But the wife has an issue with that particular deal. She really does. But I hand raised them literally from about 4 weeks old. Their mother passed away, and they would have been literally thrown in a bag and down the river. The owner says to me, I'm just going to belt them on the head with a hammer. And I went, don't you bloody dare give them to me. And I was eyedropper feeding them and bringing them up, and believe me, they are my girls, if you know what I mean. Best security I've got.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning. And I've never had to train them to do that, believe me. Most people give them vocal orders. Well, they actually don't work on vocal orders. They actually work on hand movements for me. And they understand with my hands.
Take this. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's got... I wish he was here so I could show you, but I'll send you a picture of him later. Or you guys could just find me on Instagram and you'll see pictures of Lazy Jacob. But anyway, he was smart. You know, we got him. He was 3 months old. We got him from an animal rescue. And he was found just in a parking lot with another dog like him. They just abandoned him somewhere behind. He was living by a dumpster. He was 3 months old, little 8-pound guy. Had ringworm, so it's like a fungal infection. He had like spots that grew back now. But he's just, like 48 hours after we got him. He, like, if you've ever raised a dog, especially a puppy, they're going to pee in the house. 48 hours, he was already starting to hold it, and, like, there was no major accidents since 2 days after we got him. And I was just blown away, because when we were working with my sister's dog, that was, like, 7 months of training that thing to stop peeing in the house, you know? So it was just, with him, he's just great. He's this great little guy, and great little outdoor dog, too. You know, he'll range around you, but he won't leave. Like, he's always watching and taking care of you, too, so he's just great.
Nice. Well,
What are we talking about again, dogs?
Yeah, we are. I was going to say, I actually raised mine to go and do a little pig hunting with, to be very honest with you. And they do it very, very capably. But I've hung up my rifles these days. I won't shoot anything that breeds anymore, but doesn't stop me from taking the dogs out through the bush and everything like that and letting them enjoy what they're literally there to do, if you know what I mean. They love being out there. So, yes, I'm thinking later on this weekend I might actually get a bit of bush time in, if the old leg lets me, because believe me, just lately I've been having problems with my right hand leg. So, anyway, I've got to be honest with you, Greg. I've been told in my ear it is 1 away from 12 o'clock. We're going to switch over to the studio too in a couple of minutes. But I got to thank you so much for taking the time out, my friend, and talking to us here in New Zealand.
Thank you guys. It's like, what you guys are doing is so awesome. I'm sorry I'm butting in again. I'm sorry. I just want to say thank you guys so much too. I appreciate this so much, and everybody tuning in and listening. Like it really does mean the world to me. I'm not just saying that. It is my world. So thank you.
We are big fans here at Galaxy, and we want you to come back and talk to us about all your new work, everything you're doing in the future. We would love to be able to do that.
You guys are going to be some of my first calls from now on. I guarantee that, because this has just been a lovely chat.
Brilliant. Please keep in touch with Barbara, but don't go anywhere just yet. We've got a couple of other things we're going to do just off air, so that just between us, and believe me, you're going to regret what we send you. You really are, because we send you a funny photo of ourselves, everything like that. So, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. Here's Huey Lewis in the news.